Okay, so this tutorial is really going to be about making a dresser. Now we are going to be using a lot of the similar tools we used in the making of our interesting table from the last activity. One of the things I am going to emphasize a little bit more when we're going into the dresser though is pre-planning. It is important, like especially when you're putting together furniture that's a little bit more on the complicated side, to kind of plan out your steps a little bit. Yeah. Now, if you notice in this picture over here, I do have the original picture, which I'm not going to be drawing on, and then I'm also going to be doing a breakdown image, yeah. And pretty much I'm going to like show the different sections of what we're going to be creating, yeah. So if we take a look at your breakdown section, I'm going to be kind of looking at where my vertical line should be, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by kind of going and finding the left side of the dresser and then kind of drawing a line over there. Now, one thing I'm not going to be paying attention too much to is going to be these legs at the bottom. I'm going to kind of leave those alone. And I'm also going to be leaving, there's a little bit of like a tabletop at this top area of the dresser. I'm also going to be ignoring that for now. Okay, but if you notice, I'm kind of just getting this first column, okay, and stopping it right before it gets into where the legs are. So that's going to be my first column right there. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to be starting to make my horizontal lines. Yeah, so these are going to match up with where the um, horizontal borders are going to be for this dresser. So I'm going to kind of draw this and draw all the way to over there. Yeah, and again, kind of cutting off the legs over there. And then right over here, it's a little bit hard to see, but I'm going to be drawing a line that kind of goes across from here all the way to here. Yeah, okay, and this will give me a little bit of like a border in there as well. Okay, now the other thing I'm going to be paying close attention to is the amount of sections for each row. So if you notice right over here, like between each of the drawers for the dresser, there's like little subsections, yeah, that kind of cordon off. So we got this one right here. Yeah, so this is right at the bottom. Okay, and then I also have another one right over here. So this separates the bottom row with the middle row. Same thing with this one over here. So I'm going to click on there, and I'm going to kind of draw a nice little line that goes across over here. And again, notice I'm really paying attention to the fact that these are going to be, when we're extruding, these are going to be where our divisions are going to be. Yes, I got one more over here, and then I got a last one. This one's like really tiny, but I'm going to do a really tiny section that kind of hits the top of that dresser. So not too bad. Looks like I missed a little bit, but that's all right, yeah. The main thing that we're trying to get out of here is the amount of sections that we're going to be having to extrude. Okay, now I'm going to kind of switch back to my verticals, yeah, and this is where things get a little bit weird, because if you notice, your top row is going to have a lot less divisions. Sorry, your top row is going to have more divisions than your bottom row, but we do have to take that into account when you're extruding. So weirdly enough, we're going to draw a line that kind of goes and from here to here, and then from here to here, yeah. This kind of seems to change the layout of your dresser a little bit, because all of a sudden it looks like we're kind of cutting these two bottom drawers in half. We are not. This is just where we're going to be extruding until, yes, because we do need those lines. Okay, and then after that we can kind of start concentrating on this right here. So let's see, trying to get this middle line. Again, when we're done with this, or when I'm going to be done drawing all of this, it's going to kind of look like I have a bunch of way more drawers than we actually need, yeah, to make this overall design. Okay, so I'm going to almost wrap this up here. Okay, that's going to be to there, and then here's my last one going down through to over here, yeah. Okay, so this is my overall breakdown of the dresser. Okay, the key things to keep in mind here is that the amount of sections. Yeah, so I'm gonna number them out right now in like on the sides over here. So let me write terribly over here. But basically, here's number one. Yeah, number one over here. And this is going to be division 2. Division number 3 is over here. Yeah, so right over there, that's division number 3. Okay, then we got 4. Yeah, 5. 5 is going to be right over here. Again, this really small division right over there. Okay, and then I have six. Six is the top row basically of drawers. And then there is a seventh one, yeah. And so this is going to be right before the top of the dresser turns into that countertop, yeah. Okay, so if you notice again, we have 7 sections that we're going to be paying attention to. Okay, so this is our layout. And then the other thing, so this is going to be what our divisions are going to look like from this side. We're also going to be paying attention to how many times we have to bring this out. Yeah, so if we're going horizontal, this is the amount of extrudes we're going to have to bring it to the right. Yeah, so we got 1, 2 over here, then 3, that tiny little section over there. Here's 4, 5 over here, and 6, 7 is another tiny division, 8 is over here. Oh my goodness, this needs to end. Okay, and then 9. All right, so that's the 9th one, and again, that's the last division. Yeah. Okay, so that's going to be our breakdown. Yeah, so we're going to have a column, 7 divisions, and then when we're extruding, we're actually going to extrude out a total of 8 times. Yeah, and after we do the 8 times, including the first one, we're going to have 9 sections. Yeah, so we'll keep that in mind. All right. Okay, so this is going to be our layout for this. I am going to be jumping into Maya, keeping that information in mind. Okay, so remember again, vertically we need 7 divisions. So what we're going to do is go to your create menu, go to polygon primitives, and then we're going to go to the box next to cube. Yeah, so we're going to go to the cube settings. Okay, and then here's our polycube options. For now, we'll keep everything at 1, 1, 1 as far as the proportions go. But when it comes to the divisions, we're going to keep in mind, right? There's supposed to be 7 floors in that dresser, so we're going to put that at 7 over here, and then press create. Yeah, so again, everything's at 1s except for this height division at 7. Yeah, you're going to click on create on there. Okay, and what this is going to do is going to kind of give you this stack. Kind of looks like a bunch of post-its. Kind of like with the table 2, we'll make sure that this is off the ground. Yeah, so if you can kind of get it off the ground, sorry, off the grid, not the ground. Okay, and yeah, let's scale this up. So yeah, remember press your R key, or you can use your scale button. And we're gonna scale this up. We're gonna imagine the height of the dresser. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of go with maybe something around there. Okay, yours doesn't have to look exactly the same. We can still make edits to this afterwards. Yeah, so don't feel like this has to be the perfect setup. Okay. Now, one of the things that we're going to keep in mind, so I'm going to actually shrink this down so we can kind of look at the breakdown of the dresser side by side. And I'm going to hide my channel box just a little bit easier for us to see. Yeah, okay, that'll kind of work right here. Okay, is if we take a look at this side by side, okay, our divisions, we want to make sure that these match up. Yeah, so the top division, if you notice 7 right over here, is super, super tiny, then big, then tiny, then big, then tiny, then big, then tiny. Yeah. So we're going to make sure that this layout of edges is also the same. So we're going to right click, go into edge mode. I'm going to double click on this edge right at the top. Yeah. So notice when I go there and I double click. Yeah. So if I double click on there, it'll actually catch all the edges all the way around, which is like super, super helpful. Okay. So again, double click. And yeah, always do a check, yeah, all the way around, because sometimes you'll miss edges. Okay, then I'm going to use my move tool. Yeah, so again, that's the W, or you can press this button over here. Either way is great. Okay, and then we're going to make that section. Now, again, the 7th section or the top section is very, very small. So I'm going to get really, really close to the top, and that should pretty much work out pretty well. Okay, and then again, from here now, we're just going to kind of mirror this pattern. Okay, so 6 is a little bit on the longer side, so I'm just going to double click on that edge, do a quick check, make sure I only got the edge. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this piece up just a little bit. Yeah, so we'll just bring that up a little bit. Okay, and then now we have a subsection. This one is also small, probably not as small as the 7th one, but the 5th one is going to be like maybe about here, yeah. Okay, now remember again, you can move these edges around. The one thing I would be very careful about though is sort of like when we're working in the house, you don't want to overlap edges. Yeah, once you start doing this where you overlap it, your model is actually going to start acting really weird when you start extruding. Yeah, so it's not worth it. Don't do it. Okay, and then so that's our midsection. That's number 5. Then we have number 4. Looks like this one I can kind of bring down just a little bit. Yeah. And then we got the third section. Let's adjust for that as well. So again, this is a smaller section, but not as small again as 7. I think 7 again is a, like, yeah, it definitely looks like it's the tiniest. Okay, and then we get to this one, edge over here. If you can kind of bring that one down. And again, this one is, I think, the largest of the sections, yeah. But it doesn't have to be super, super accurate. All right, and then there's all of our subsections. We can probably work off of this a little bit. If you want to tweak it too, looks like I'm just going to tweak this just a little bit to make sure that it's these two sections are about the same height. Yeah. All right. But yeah, here's our layout. Okay, and then again, this guide should be pretty helpful because again, we planned it out. Yeah, and the reason why we planned it out is so that we can like figure out exactly how much we need every section, how tall we need every section to be. All right, and then from here, we're now going to follow up and make these individual extrudes. Yeah, so we're actually going to start going from left to right. Okay, if you notice again, this one has 9 sections that we're moving it to. So I'm going to go into face mode. Okay, I'm going to select all of these. So right click, go into face mode. Then holding down your shift key, yeah, select all the faces on the right side of this cubes column. Yeah, so we're going to click on the right side over here, all those faces. After you select them, please make sure you do look around, make sure you don't have any other faces on any other sides. Yeah, we just want these 7 sections selected. All right, now from here we can now start making the extrudes. Okay, and again we're going to match these up so that they match with the width. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna press the extrude tool. Yeah, so that's Command E. And then we can pretty much from here you can jump into your move tool. Yeah, so Command E and then W. And then let's kind of drag this out, and we're trying to match this up. Again, this should be about the same width as the number 2. So we're going to bring it about to maybe about here. Yeah, and that's going to be that section. Okay, and then now we got our small division. Remember, this small division is really only for the top layer, top level. But then we're going to extrude again, bring this out. Okay, there's our division. This one's a little bit smaller, yeah, than our first column. Okay, and so this is section number 3. We're going to extrude again. Here comes number 4. So Command D and then use your move tool to bring that out. This one's a little bit smaller, it looks like. Okay, and then we're at the midway point just about. We can extrude, bring it over. Okay, and then now we're past the midway point. Okay, so here there's section number 5. Okay, and then from here we pretty much are mirroring what is happening on the other side. Yeah, so again, extrude, use your move tool, try to match up your proportions as best as you can. Okay, so smaller section, and then small section over here, extrude and W. This one is a little bit longer than the previous like column for the drawers, and then we're just about there. And then we'll do one more extrude, and this one was just gonna be mirroring what is happening on the other side. Yeah, so we do have all of these pieces. Okay, and then from here we're going to now kind of reshape this portion. Okay, so I'm going to go and select all the faces on the outside. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, but yeah, this is basically our layout. Now, it may be a little bit disappointing. If you click outside, what you're going to notice is our layout is not very detailed. It just looks like we have a wall, yeah. But because we have these sections, we can now break these down and like recreate this original image. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of move this over so we can kind of take a look at both at the same time. Okay, because we're making the dresser, that means all of these sections on the outside are the ones that we're going to be selecting and bringing out. Yeah, so I'm going to go into my face mode here. Okay, and I'm going to choose all of the faces that are not going to be jars. Yeah, so all of the faces that are not going to be jars. Basically, we're going to use these as openings. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of go around. The easiest part to identify is definitely the exterior. Yeah, so I'm going to go around and get the exterior frame. So we're going to catch all of those. So getting the exterior frame all the way around. Okay, so we're going all the way around. How exciting. All right, exterior, exterior, exterior. Okay, so that's all the frames on the outside, yeah. Okay, and then from here, We're also going to be getting our row divisions. So that's all of these over here. Okay, you can kind of see it taking shape a bit, yeah. Um, and so, yeah, this row as well. Okay, so now we can kind of see our rows for our drawers, yeah. Okay, now this is where things diversify a little bit. In our original, we do have our division down the center of the dresser, so we're going to click on this one and this one right there. Okay, and then we also have these two over here, so I'm going to click on that one and that one, yeah. Okay, and yeah, that should be all the sections that we need, yeah. Before you extrude or bring those forward though, please do a check again. Make sure that you don't have any additional faces on the side or back. Okay, there's a good chance that you may have caught something back there, so always check. Okay, but if you have all of these faces set, everything looks good, selected in the front, and then there's no other selections, you can then go to your extrude tool. Yeah, so Command E. Okay, and then we're going to go to your move tool, so that's W. Okay, bring this out, and what this will give you is your that gives you your dresser, your depth. Yeah, so there we go. Okay, so now we got some. Now we do have our areas that we can start putting together our. We can kind of have like for our drawers. Yeah. The other thing we're going to do is, if you notice at the bottom, we have two sections right here, 1 and 2, that are really natural for the legs, yeah, to kind of grow out of, but there isn't any for the front. So my suggestion is we'll just extrude one more time and then use the move tool to bring that forward. Yeah, so if you can kind of bring that forward, okay, and then there's our sections for the legs. Yeah, so now we have 4 corners that we can kind of work with. Okay, yeah, and yeah, the next part after we kind of take a look at that, yeah, is yeah, this should pretty much look like the dresser, the basic structure at least. Okay, I am going to go into face mode and select the bottom 4 faces for bottom 4 corners for the legs. Yeah, so catch all of 4 of those with the shift key. We go extrude, bring this piece down. Oh shucks, my bad. Extrude, and then use the move tool to bring this piece down. All right, and then there's our legs, and yeah, we do have the guide, so you can try to match it up as best as you can on top of here, but just do your best, yeah. All right, so that's that portion. The last thing we're gonna do on here is make the countertop. Yeah, so the countertop. The thing to make the countertop we would have to do is we would have to select all the faces at the top. One thing you could possibly do is you like click and then hold down shift right, and then you start clicking all of those faces. I will show you one other strategy that you can possibly use for this. So if you are able to get to your front view, yes, if you are able to get to your front view. So I'm over here in my front view right here. Okay, I'm going to now use my selection tool, and I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to click and drag the top of the dresser and also this little tiny midsection. But I'm not going to cross over into this row of drawers. Yeah, so I'm going to stop off early and select all of those. Okay, when you do that, what's going to happen is you'll notice in your perspective view, okay, we're going to get all the top faces immediately, and then we're also going to get this weird row on the bottom over here. Okay, now that's fine. Remember again, we only wanted those top faces. Yeah, so we got those. Your next step is going to be a little bit tricky. You're then going to hold down your shift key and drag a really tiny rectangle going left to right. Okay, and this is going to be in that row. Yeah, you're not crossing over to the top, you're not crossing over to the bottom, it's just going to be in that row. If you do a shift drag over there, what that's going to do is it will now deselect all of the faces that make up that portion. Yeah, so that's just a quick way to do selections. If you ever want to have a flat surface, yeah, real easy to work with. Okay, and then from here we're going to make the the countertop. It is very similar to how we made the table. We're just going to do an extrude, use a scale tool, and I'm going to scale this out a little bit and scale this out a little bit, again, front to back and side to side. You'll notice as we're doing this, I'm kind of doing one at a time. Just because it's easier to control how symmetrical it is. We're going to run into the same thing with the table where like the countertop is going to look super thin, but no problem. We're going to do one more extrude, bring this piece up, yeah, and then when we bring this piece up, that'll be the tabletop, yeah. so that'll be our tabletop over here. Okay, and then you can go to your object mode. Okay, and there is um, there's our dresser structure right here. Okay, I forgot actually to name this. Okay, so hopefully you did along the way, but I'm definitely gonna name that dresser right now. Okay, all right, so that's gonna be part one of the dresser. Okay, for the second part, we're gonna start making the actual drawers and also the handles for these jars. Okay, so that's coming up.